part 2 of the Friday night, September 2nd edition, studentloanjustice.org, the live stream. If you're watching us on Facebook or on Twitter, I will happily respond to your comments. This is part 2, guys. We're kind of getting our new studio together here. We're in new digs. And so please bear with us. As you can see, it's hot and I'm sweating and stuff. So bear with us. We'll get it together over the weekend, but tonight it's going to be pretty rough. Hopefully you caught our first live stream and you saw that we got Elizabeth Warren to join us with pushing Attorney General Merrick Garland to take the wrench out of the whole thing. Stop delaying the thing about the Department of Education ceasing the practice of opposing student loan borrowers in bankruptcy court. So I hope that you're pleased, but this is no time, obviously, to be popping the champagne. It hasn't happened yet, and we'll see. But this was a step forward. We've been pushing for over 2 weeks now, so you know. So there's that. You know, there's so much news going on right now about student loan cancellation. If you have any questions or comments, by all means, throw them out. And if I can see them, I will very happily respond to them. So I know a lot of people got a lot of questions right now. You know, we took a poll. Do you like Biden's student loan cancellation? Do you hate it? From scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I love it, 1 being I hate it. And this is really interesting, but there's 2 big spikes in answers, number 1 and number 10, and they were both equal. It was like 30% of the people love it. 28 or 9% of the people hate it. And that actually makes sense because something like half of all borrowers, 23 million people, have $20,000 or less in student loans. So you'd expect those people to like it. And then people who have more than, say, $100,000 or more than like $80,000, they're going to be inclined to hate it. But, you know, 95% of the people on our group hate it because most people on our group are a little smarter than the average bear. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, we're a nonpartisan group. We kind of hate both parties equally. We're not on one side. We don't put our thumb on the scales on one side or the other in terms of the parties. We're politically aware, but we are fiercely nonpartisan, whatever your political stripes are. But this Biden loan cancellation is really not trustworthy at all, ladies and gentlemen, at all. In fact, we were kind of afraid of the trick that has been played on us before in years and decades past, where the student loan swamp foists a fake loan cancellation upon us as a cheap substitute for the return of the bankruptcy protections that should have never been taken away. And ladies and gentlemen, what we saw from Joe Biden plays right into that. I mean, obviously, we're glad to see a sitting president call for the say that he is going to cancel student loans by executive order. That all started with this group, by the way. We started the petition in March 2020 calling on then President Trump to cancel student loans. Almost nobody was calling for that back then. And it was only when our petition started rocking and rolling up around 800,000 signatures that Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer embraced the concept. So we're thrilled that the president is even saying, I'm going to cancel even $1 in student loans by executive order. That's a real step forward for us. And you all should be very pleased and enthused that we were able to get that done, because that wasn't me. That was people on this group. Too many to name, tens of thousands certainly. But that all started here, guys. So despite appearances, this group is a little more important than you might think. But guys, this Biden thing it's not trustworthy at all. Number one, not $1 has been canceled yet, guys, and not $1 will be canceled, I suspect, until maybe they'll do an early tranche before the November elections. That wouldn't surprise me, actually. But who knows, guys? Who knows? Not $1 has yet been canceled. Details are to come, and you know they could put whatever details they want onto this plan. already we're seeing that some of the states like Mississippi and North Carolina have said that they're going to tax this loan cancellation. So, and the states that Mississippi and North Carolina are the two states that chose to do this. These are two of the poorer states in the country. Mississippi is the poorest state in the country. And on student loans, if you look at the average student loan debt per borrower versus wages, Mississippi is the worst state in the country. North Carolina is, I don't know off the top of my head, but it's worst 10. I think it's worst 5. So, of all the states where you probably don't want to tax your people on this phantom loan cancellation, Mississippi and North Carolina would be those states. But I think it's going to go beyond that. And think about how absurd that is, guys. 85% of all student loan borrowers were never going to be able to pay their loans. 58% were not paying at all before the pandemic. So imagine you're dirt poor, you're struggling, inflation is hitting you like a fucking slap in the face. You got no money, maybe you're working, maybe you're not. You are just barely rubbing 2 nickels together. Biden comes in and cancels $10,000 off of your, let's say, I don't know, $80,000 loan balance. So now you owe $70,000. You still don't have any money, still maybe don't even have a job, still rubbing 2 nickels together. But then the state of Mississippi, North Carolina, many other states, in fact, maybe even most states will do this that have an income tax, who knows? All of a sudden they're going to come in, they're going to be like, yeah, you got $10,000 knocked off, you owe us $500. So that $10,000 that got knocked off of your, I don't know, $80,000 loan, did that really help you? It's kind of on paper, right? Well, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Bottom line is you got to find a way to cough up $500 to pay your, say, 5% income tax, state income tax. Or if you got the Pell Grant, maybe they knocked off $20,000. So $1,000 tax liability that you have to somehow find a way to pay. Give me a break. It's ridiculous. And I'm telling you, the governors of the states of Mississippi and North Carolina ought to be ashamed of themselves. But guys, take a step back. Around half of all borrowers have over $20,000. Probably a quarter of them, I'm guessing, have somewhere over $80,000, $90,000. I haven't looked lately, but I'd have to check that. A very large, millions and millions and millions of people have way over $100,000 in student loan debt. Knocking off $10,000 does nothing for them. We have people in our group that are like, you may as well add $10,000 onto my balance. This is ridiculous. And so they cancel $10,000 off $150,000. Okay, now you only owe $140,000. Like, it's like this much less ridiculous now. Wow, cool. Now, by the way, you got to pay $500, maybe $1,000 to the state of Mississippi, North Carolina. Stupid. It's stupid, guys. This is exactly the one of the shoes to drop, and we will see many shoes drop on this loan cancellation gimmick. And in my opinion, humble opinion, it is a gimmick. In the months to come, ladies and gentlemen, the strongest thing that I can tell you tonight, right now, as we speak, is that if we get the threat of bankruptcy returned to us as it exists for all other loans, then all of a sudden they're not going to be able to drop too many shoes on our head as far as this current loan cancellation goes. They're not going to be able to screw with us too badly. That's the whole thing about bankruptcy, guys. Like, very few people file for bankruptcy today, although tens of millions have credit card debt, etc. Boat loans, home loans, you name it. Less than 1 million people file for any reason for any year. In a typical year. It's because the lenders, when faced with the threat of bankruptcy, they will come to the table and they will negotiate fairly. That's how that works. That's why bankruptcy is so important. That's why we have such low filing rates in the United States, because the lenders have to deal with the very real threat of bankruptcy. So it's been taken away from student loans. When it is returned to student loans, be it through S2598, which is the most solid way, this legislation that we're fighting for, and that, knock on wood, is in perfect position to pass right now. I know one of the articles that was out the other day said it's languishing in the Senate. I don't think it's languishing, guys. I think that's bad verbiage. I think the bill's ready to roll right now. I think it's bipartisan. I think there's a buzz building about the absolute need to return bankruptcy protections to student loans. I think the Senate and the House are on recess right now, and they will be on recess until after Labor Day. So they will be back in session on Tuesday. They'll be able to do some things. So I would say the bill definitely is not languishing. So I'm looking for the live chat now on our part 2 of our live stream tonight. But guys, even if you owe $10,000 or less on your student loans, don't take that Biden promise at face value. History has shown that the Department of Education disqualifies over 99% out of all the various loan cancellation gimmicks it has ever run. Over 99% disqualification. So there is nothing that I've seen no data evidence to suggest that the Department of Education has suddenly turned over a new leaf and, decided to live right and stuff. No evidence to indicate that. So please, don't be stupid. Don't be a fool. Now is exactly the time for you to be helping us fighting to get the bankruptcy rights that should have never been taken away and that the founding fathers called for ahead of the power to declare war and raise an army in the Constitution back. We need you helping with us. This group's way more important than you think, guys, but I'm telling you, when nobody does anything, nothing good happens. And we've got a huge muscle to flex. We've got over 1 million people in our group now. Over 1 million people on our petition, on all of our internet platforms, email, you name it. We've got probably 1.3 or 4 million people on paper. That's meaningless unless people actually help fight this fight. Don't think that somebody's going to pull your weight for you here on this group. They can't. They're too busy. We're all distressed borrowers, just like you. You're not better than us. So at a minimum, I would hope that you would at least, certainly for the next month before early voting begins in October, but quite frankly, I'd say between now and the end of the year, our bill, S2598, dies at the end of the year. Quite frankly, it should, if the Democrats were smart, and maybe even if the Republicans are smart, they would come together and get this sucker passed before early voting begins in October. So Congress will do nothing unless they are pushed. That's probably the key thing that we've learned over the years. So this is your time to own this problem, your problem, because your livelihood, your student loans, what happens with them hangs in the balance. At the end of this year, the window closes, guys. Who knows what's going to happen with this election? Who knows? Right now, we have this Merrick Garland thing that's ready to crack. We've got S2598, which is ready to be passed. So don't be the guy sitting here 4 months from now saying, wow, I didn't do jack shit. I sat on my ass and I thought somebody else was going to pull my weight for me. And wow, looks like that didn't happen. Wow. Now I'm getting triple the collection calls that I was getting before the pandemic. And oh, I'm kind of screwed now. You don't want to be that guy. What are you doing? And to everybody on this group who's doing the hard work, I salute you. Leslie Fishman, many others. I'm not going to start mentioning names. So many. Tens of thousands of people out there who are doing the daily grind. Maybe not daily, but certainly weekly. We are the pioneers. We are the eye of the storm. We are the whole freaking storm. Dude, the other groups out there, at least the ones that I've looked at, they're like, oh, Biden's going to cancel loans now. Woo, we win. That's bullshit, guys. Those groups are nonsense. And they would love, quite frankly, one of them is a straight up dirty, corrupted group. And certainly our opposition, the bad guys, and they're out there, the swamp, Student Loan Swamp, they would love for you to be sitting back doing nothing right now. Reading Forbes magazine going, Ooh, I can't wait to get my loans canceled. I can quit thinking about student loans now. That's what the bad guys want you to do. And meanwhile, um, fate of your student loans hangs in the balance, guys. What happens between now and October, what happens between now and the end of the year, means everything for the fight for student loan justice. Take it from a guy who's been doing it for nearly 18 years now. I'm sorry to say. Um, hey, Jennifer Cook Schomburg is with us tonight. Hey, Jennifer. I'm not sure if I can see your comment here, but let me see if I can dial it in. Jennifer Cook says 100% nonsense. I hope you're backing me up when I say that this loan cancellation is 100% potential nonsense. Like, I would love to give the Biden administration credit and take them at their word, but history has shown 18 years of very hard looking at uh, this loan scam, and that includes both parties. I'm very sorry to say, guys. Many years of looking at this thing has taught us not to trust, not to trust. When the loans are canceled, then we'll have some data to look at. And until that happens, we have no good reason to take anything that comes out of any politician or unelected bureaucrat, Department of Education, their word. Absolutely no good reason. In fact, all the evidence has taught us that there's every reason to not believe what they promise. So I hope that is kind of what you're going for, Jennifer. Oh, Jennifer continues. The other groups thinking 10K is great is nonsense. Totally agree, Jennifer. Like I said, people on our group are like, number one, I'm not applying for that, and I agree. I'm a defaulted borrower myself. I originally borrowed, if you care, I rarely talk about my own situation, but I originally borrowed about $35,000. I haven't even looked at my student loan balance in probably 10 years. Last I looked, it was 200,000. It was 10 years ago. So who knows? I would think probably 400,000 today on a $35,000 loan. So no, sorry guys. I have no desire or intentions of ever signing anything, ever sending an application into the Department of Education. I'm done. It's game over. I'm not playing anymore. I will not play their game whatsoever anymore. $10,000 is a joke. You may as well add 10,000. I really don't care at this point. It's monopoly money. The lending system is fake. The lending system has failed. And if the bad guys think they can foist a fake loan cancellation gimmick on us, this group here, student loan justice, again, and fool us, they got another fucking thing coming. Pardon my French. We're a little wiser than that, guys, and it looks like Jennifer's not fooled. And any other groups that are popping the champagne and hugging and kissing and crying over this $10,000. First of all, it makes me want to vomit. I hope it makes you want to vomit as well. But guys, just look at the data, look at the facts, look at the history of the Department of Education, look at the history of every loan cancellation gimmick they've ever foisted on us in the past. Income contingent repayment, ICR, 99.999 disqualification rate percent. Income-based repayment, my best estimate is that it's going to be a 99 or 8% disqualification rate. Heck, in 2015 alone, 57% of the people in IBR had been kicked out. And the most recent data I've seen is like 3 or 4 years ago. 30% of the people who fill out the income verification forms for IBR are kicked out every year because they didn't cross their I or dot their T, or they earned too much or whatever. And that might not sound too bad. Like, okay, well, 70% make it through the income verification for IBR every year. Guys, do the math. If 70% of the people make it through every year, statistically, the odds of making it through that income verification thing 20 years in a row vanished to like 1%, less than 1%. And like I saw, in 1 year alone, they kicked out 57% of the people by IBR. Department of Education has no desire or intentions of canceling any loans, any debt. That's how they roll. That's how they always roll. You cannot trust them further than you can bowl them. And quite frankly, I say the same thing for Joe Biden. I would like to say better things about Elizabeth Warren. We have a very long history with Senator Warren, going back to being on 60 Minutes and stuff like that. Oh, good. It looks like oh, well, thank you, Christina. Thank you for our we're in our new digs here, ladies and gentlemen. So, thanks for that. So, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. It's Friday night. This is part 2. Part 1's a little choppy. The Cliff's note for part 1 is Elizabeth Warren joined us in pushing on Attorney General Merrick Garland to stop delaying the process of the Department of Education opposing student loan borrowers in bankruptcy court. I know that's a mouthful, but it turns out that's a very important thing. Getting S-2598 passed is by and away the most important thing. Despite student loan cancellation, in my humble opinion, is the least important thing. And honestly, guys, it's not very trustworthy. If you want a clear, written down explanation of why it's not trustworthy, go to bit.ly/SLJ, student loan justice, bit.ly/SLJ tricky, all lowercase. By the way, I know the battle rages on the student loan cancellation thing. If you want to be able to answer the haters pretty quickly, just go to our Medium site, student loan justice, all one word, lowercase, .medium.com. Read our most recent, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 articles. They're quick. And you will be a very, very fine, fit, and fierce student loan justice warrior if you do. We publish top-notch, easily verifiable research on that platform there. And some of the headlines that we've broken in the past year and a half, 2 years will blow your mind. I'm not going to regurgitate them now. Just check it out, studentloanjustice.medium.com. Read the most recent 7 articles, and you will be very intelligent. You'll be able to fight this battle on your own 2 feet and shut all the haters down, which is something that we need to do right now. If you want an example, maybe not perfect example, but a pretty good example of how you can shut the haters down, I think I shut a guy down last Saturday on Fox News. So go to bit.ly again, bit.ly/SLJ Fox News, all lowercase. And you can see me mix it up with this just asshole swamp creature guy named Mark something or another, Mark Goldline. So, okay, guys, we're trying to get ourselves together here in our new digs. Thanks for putting up with the weirdness. I will be back on Sunday. Make this weekend count, guys. I'm not kidding you. Your student loans, what happens with your student loans hangs in the balance of what happens between now and the first week in October, now and the end of the year. I don't know what else I can say, but it's true. Don't count on this Biden thing to be anything. Even if you owe less than $10,000 or $20,000, don't count on it. That would be foolish. So, all right, guys. Maybe last thing I'm going to say is, if you can please donate. Please do it. You can see the link there. We can survive and thrive on almost nothing, guys. Like I said, we now are located in a dilapidated building, and I mean, like, we don't even have water here. So it's kind of like camping, but it's getting better. So we can survive on very little here, guys. Let's just say that. But we can't pay our bills and keep the lights on and stuff for absolutely nothing. So if you appreciate the work we've done, if you appreciate all that we've accomplished, which has been massive over the past couple of years, and most importantly, if you appreciate all that we are poised to do, then please donate. I hate fundraising. I'm no good at it. So please make it a little easier on us, please. That would be super helpful. Okay, guys, make this weekend count. We're going to have a chock full schedule next week of daily actions. And let me see if I can dial that in again for you. Chock full week of daily actions next week. Be ready to hit it very hard. So have a good weekend. I'll see you on Sunday. Peace.